Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Insurance Town. I'm the Mayor, Heath Sheeran, and the host of this podcast. I am pumped you're here hanging out because I've got my best buddy, Casey Nelson, hanging out with me today, and we just chop it up and have a good time and just chit-chat. And there's probably quite a few edits I'm going to have to do in here. And then I find out halfway through the episode that I'm not even using the right microphone. So I apologize if you get into this and the audio is not very good. My apologies. But yeah, dude, I'm so glad y'all are here hanging out because this guy means a lot to me. He's a good friend, and he's just a brilliant guy, and we have a good, fun conversation. I hope you get a lot out of it. This episode is sponsored by my friends over at Smart Choice, the fastest growing agency network. And they do what they do because they love the independent insurance channel. Or the agency channel, and they do everything they do with lower premium thresholds, with higher commissions. It's no wonder that 11,000 agencies are on the Smart Choice network, $11 billion in written premium. I mean, guys, go check it out, smartchoiceagents.com. Also, my good friends over at Canopy Connect, your one-click solution to getting the deck pages you need to quote your prospect. An awesome intake platform. You got to go check that out. Use canopy.com/Heath and get the discount for being a citizen. Get a demo. It's a free demo. It's a cool call with somebody that's on their team, and they're going to talk to you all about it, and you're going to love it. Go check it out. Also, my new friends over at Mav. Go to hiremav.com and check it out. HireMav is a texting platform that is there for you to continue to quote, to continue to collect information, to help you to take care of things. You can swap out an entire call center for an AI insurance ready to deliver results with 50% lower cost of service, 30% higher lead conversion, 24% lower cost per acquisition. Dude, your leads would rather talk to Mav. I mean, text messaging is proven to be a better platform than calls these days. So go to hiremav.com and check it out. Now, guys, I'm going to slide out of the way so you can check out my amazing conversation with my main man, Casey Nelson.
We're ready to just rip this Band-Aid off and just rock it for a minute?
Yeah, man, just raw dog it.
Dude, I love it. It's so funny.
It's such a dirty way of saying let's just go, but it works.
I like it. Casey Nelson, what's up, raw dog?
Man. Oh, man. I'm so happy you texted me and were like, hey, you want to record a podcast real quick? I'm like, yeah.
Dude.
Yup.
Yeah, dude. I love having a ride or die like that I can just text like 5 minutes before and be like, dude, you want to record a podcast?
Yeah.
Like you, my friend, are the definition of like ride or die. Like I called you like a week before California. I was like, hey, you want to go to Santa Monica Pier with me and hang out and go to a conference and watch me speak? You're like, yeah, dude. I'm like, oh, awesome. Let's go. And then you like texted me and were like, hey, man, what are you and Stacy doing for Thanksgiving? And I was like, nothing. Come out to our house. You're like, all right, see you there. And it's like, I'm so glad you're here hanging out. I don't even know what you need to do a trip down memory lane or anything, but dude, I love your friendship, man.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you. You mean the world to me. Like you, Stacy, the whole crew. Man, Thanksgiving was just awesome. You know, being able to take a road trip, and then the other ones. You know, the other things you brought up. What's also just super lucky is that every time you ask, I'm like, yeah, I can do that. Like, you know, it's not always that way when someone has some really cool thing to do, and I'm like, you know, I gotta be at a big eye event or something like that. So. Yeah, man, I appreciate you. I love our friendship. I love the fact that we can just like pick up and just start recording a podcast without any prep whatsoever. Just hit the ground running. Just hit the ground running.
It's the best. Yeah. So speaking of hit the ground running, holy smokes,
man,
we're already here, bro.
Time is just flying by. I felt like in Thanksgiving time, I'm like, it seemed like it was July or August, and then all of a sudden I blinked and it was Thanksgiving. And now, like you're saying, like, I wonder if that's like getting older or if it's life or if it's the fact that the field that we're in is moving so incredibly fast that it's.
I want to say D, all the above.
Yeah.
like everybody says when you get older, like time flies and like
Yeah.
you'll blink and it's like, and I was like, oh, whatever. I feel like the older I got, it would be slower, but especially with kids. And like you said earlier before we hit record, like volleyball and school stuff and chasing kids here, there, and everywhere. And then on top of that, you're traveling to events and going here, and it's a lot, man.
Yeah. Oh, every
I
time you
think
turn
that
around.
makes time fly. I feel like every time I turn around, I got something going on, with a kid or with work or something. It's
For sure.
weird. Got Reese's senior season for basketball, and he's having a killer season. My daughters are doing like the band and the choir and soccer and cheerleading and whatever else. It's just like you said, every time you turn around, it's something.
It's hard to keep
So,
track of.
but like, I wonder for 2026, are you one of these like goal setter people
Mm.
or like New Year's resolution type things?
A couple of years, well, in the past, I think I was, but a couple of years ago, I decided to start making birthday resolutions.
Okay.
Because New Year's is fun and everything, but like, I don't know. For some reason, it makes more sense to me to say, okay, hey, in this year of my birth, like I'm gonna go, I want to do X, Y, and Z. So I do try to set goals, but I correlate them more with my birthday than New Year's.
So 2025, you did the Wrexham thing, right? Or was that 2024? No, it's 25, wasn't it?
No, it
Yeah.
was 24.
Okay.
Because
I
this
gotcha.
25 Thanksgiving was at your house. 24 Thanksgiving was in Wales.
That's right.
Yeah.
So was that one of those goal things, like you're going to go see Wrexham play in 2024? Is that one of the things? Or it just kind of happened?
No, but it was a bucket list item that I didn't know I had
Yeah.
until it was already booked. I mean, my whole journey with that team and the show and loving that organization is unreasonably fast and weird. But yeah, I mean, half of my shirts are either Wrexham or Western Michigan or Detroit Lions.
There you go.
But yeah, no, that was a wild thing. But yeah, this year, well, my birthday's in April, so I'm already close to needing to set new goals. But I still have some time left, and I have a couple goals that I want to accomplish. One of them that I set in April last year was to learn to play the guitar. Now, I have not learned to play the guitar, but I can
Yeah.
play Happy Birthday and Mary
Oh,
Had a
nice.
Little Lamb, and I'm taking lessons. So I've made a lot of progress.
That's huge.
Yeah, no Jimi Hendrix, but I mean, it's progress.
I've got 2 guitars in my attic that I bought years ago. And I started doing the lessons, started playing, and I became a wuss. I'm not going to lie. Having the calluses on my fingers is like, I can't do this. Like, I got to
Mhm.
quit.
Mhm.
And like, people are like, oh, you got to push through that. And it's great. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to. Like, so what was why did you want to learn the guitar?
So I had to take a fine arts credit in college. So one summer semester I took guitar and I loved it.
Yeah.
And you go twice a week to class and whatever.
Yeah.
You don't get good, but like just because you're doing it all the time, you make a lot of progress. And I remember liking it. I remember enjoying it and thought it was fun. And then I said, I mean, I live on my own. Like my girls are with me half the time. I needed to find something new. And I wanted also to challenge myself to learn something new, right? Like I love learning, love trying to find new things, but I realized I hadn't learned like a skill, like a physical skill in a long time. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
pretty much like if I work out or I walk or whatever, like these are all things that I've done before, but I wanted to take it to the next level. Now I didn't have any illusions that I would, use it to meet ladies, but I did think that it would be cool if I got to the point where I could play like maybe like 10 songs. Like
Yeah.
there's tons of little like wineries and stuff around that need like open mic
Yeah.
performers. And I'm like, man, wouldn't that be cool to be able to just play like 10 songs, just go do a little open mic night. There's probably 5 people in the whole place.
Dude, that
You
would
know,
be fun.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I'll ever get there, but that's kind of a pipe dream, but
No, that makes sense. That makes
something
total
to
sense.
do.
Okay, so you got that. Okay, so 2026 though, anything? I mean, next birthday, April, whatever.
Yeah.
Anything shaping up like another cool thing like that, or maybe it's like to continue the guitar thing. Or I'll tell you what else I did. I bought a banjo. I
Oh.
thought I'd learn the banjo, but same thing with the guitar. It just didn't work for me.
Nah, I
But
mean, it's hard. It's
is
hard.
there anything like other than that, or is there another trip, or
I would really like to finally get myself running a podcast, doing a podcast. Want to follow in your footsteps, buddy.
I don't know about that, but
I want to. I think that there's. This is a bit of a tangent, but I think that I want to put good things into the world. I feel inundated by a lot of negativity in social media and stuff, and I want to just do whatever part I can to kind of put just some happiness and some good out there and some learning. So whether that's insurance or technology or Wrexham or all of the above, like I would really like to do that. I think that'd be good for me, and I think I'd learn to be pretty decent at it.
Let's make a clunky transition into insurance just for a minute for my audience. They don't get like, okay, I'm tired of hearing these two boys just hang out and talk. But like 2026 insurance, like, is there, like you said, like you like to learn new things. I do too. I love learning new things. Is there anything like right now do you feel like in the insurance industry that people should be learning right now or really paying attention to?
Yes. And I'm not an AI hater. I don't think you are either, but that's not it. I think that, right. No, I think that the gulf between those that implement technology effectively and those that don't is just getting wider every single day.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that the junk drawer analogy has really stuck with me. And I think it might've been Patrick McBride that came up with it. Somebody we know came up with it and said, if you have a blender in your house, it should probably be in the kitchen where the stuff is that you're going to need to blend. If it's in the living room, no one's going to use that damn thing. Like, why is it in the living room? And your agency, and your agency technology is largely the same, right? Like, if you've got all these pieces of technology and these cool systems, but they're not in an appropriate location or built in a way that makes it easy for your team to use and it's clear when they should be using it, they're not going to use it. So I think that's point. Part of the gulf. And I also think that, like, and this is hard, agencies have no idea what their numbers are. And I mean, like, leads per month, leads per week, quotes per month, quotes per week, service requests, phone calls. Like, they don't have any idea what those numbers are. So if you don't know what those numbers are, you don't know what you need.
Them, or they just don't even know, period. Or they're just like, they think they know.
Yeah. No, they're not tracking them.
Okay, so you're not even tracking them at all. They're not even guessing at them. They're just like, I just don't know.
I think you could pick 10 random agency owners from a Facebook group and say, in 5 minutes, can you tell me how many new leads you got last year, how many quotes you got out, and how many service requests your team completed? Could you give me those numbers in 5 minutes? 2 out of 10 maybe could tell you that.
If you're listening to this right now and you think Casey's full of shit, send us a message, comment on this, reach out to Casey on LinkedIn and blow up his DMs. Like, I want to know and get a little engagement here. I'll put this out on YouTube. Like, put a little comment out there. I want to know. But if you do know your numbers, we'd like to know. If Casey's dead on, then let us know that too. But yeah, so anyhow, go ahead.
No, I think it's funny because Moneyball was on today on AMC while I was eating lunch, and I just turned on the TV. I love that movie. And it was the scene where, like, if you've seen the movie, Brad Pitt is Billy Bean, and Jonah Hill is, I can't remember the guy, but he's like a Yale economics degree and whatever. And all these old hats are just sitting around this table talking about which ball players they need to sign to replace the guy that left the team last offseason.
Right.
And Brad Pitt's just like reading off these names of these guys, these players that these old coaches want nothing to do with. And he just points at Jonah Hill's character. He's like, why do we want them? And he was like, they all have an OPS of 367. And all these guys are like, why do we want 3 players with an average of 367? We want 1 player with an average of 1.2 or 900 or whatever the math was. Yeah. My math was bad on that. But it's like in that scene, I watched it today and it crystallized it for me. It's like so many people have just thought about running an agency the way they've run it for 20 or 30 years. and like breaking out of that mold and knowing your numbers and adjusting is hard. And
Peter
the other
Brand.
thing,
Peter Brand.
Peter Brand.
That was Jonah Hill's character.
Oh, okay. You're probably right. You just looked it up, so I'm sure you're right.
I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
As we were talking, I just looked it up.
Nice.
Wait, it's about to come in. There we go.
I love it. There
Peter
it is.
Brand.
There he is. Looks just like him.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
Peter Brand. But yeah, no, I think you're right though. Is that come like for the average agency listening now? Is that something that they could easily do with just their CRM and their AMS, or is it something they need to like go out and buy something?
No, I think it's. I know that
That's
if
what
they're
they say,
using,
don't feel bad because like, oh, I gotta buy something else.
well, if you have a CRM, you should have it set up so that you get those numbers. Like,
Yeah.
now you might not like know them off the top of your head, right? But you should be able to find them in about 3 clicks. Some of that information can be tracked in a management system. Management systems can be so different from program to program. It's hard to say,
1,000%.
but like you should have those numbers someplace. Like at the agency I was at, like we had a lot of tracking that was going on, even if it was using sheets, but at least we knew.
Yeah.
Um,
So
Like
tell me,
one-
okay, we talked earlier today, and again, I want the audience to get involved if they're listening to this and they can. Let's say there's 1,000 people right now listening to this episode. I want to know if you have a CRM. If you're listening to this right now, if you have a CRM, I want to know. Email me, DM me, comment on the post, whatever it is, because I was shocked to see, Cadlet's State of Tech report. I was like, you probably know off the top of your head. I think it was 28% of agency owners have a CRM. To me, that's like bedrock. That's like foundational. You have to have a CRM nowadays. But again, when you said if you have a CRM, and I was thinking, oh, everybody's got one. But then I remembered, wait a minute, no, they don't. Only 28%. That was staggering to me that people didn't, a larger number didn't. And that wasn't like, oh, we only had 212 responses. There was a lot of people that responded to that tech survey. And so to only have 28%, that's bonkers.
yeah.
Which would mean, going my math earlier, what is it, 280 people have had 1,000 people listen to this episode right now? Like, I don't know, I'm just, for easy math, 280 out of 1,000. That's not a lot.
Right. No,
Is my
there's
math
a lot
right
of
on that?
people. What's that?
My math's right on that, right? 280?
Yeah. 280 out of 1,000, 28%.
Okay, go ahead.
And if we're both wrong, somebody's going to fact check us and make a nasty comment.
Totes. Okay. I just said totes. I've been around my girls too long, but go ahead.
Well, I think the adoption, when I first saw that number, it knocked my socks off too. And I think that it goes back to like, they're still kind of new.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like CRMs have been in the insurance space as prevalent as they are now, even 8 years ago. Like,
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
10 years ago when I got into insurance, I think there were a couple floating around, but they weren't doing what they do now.
Yeah.
So I remember looking at some of the CRMs that are available now. I remember looking at them in 2016 and 2017, and they didn't really do much. And now they do so much. So I think a lot of people may have checked them out and just, it wasn't a fit at the time. So it's just something that they've dismissed. But another big thing that I think agencies should think about, and it directly relates to a CRM, is, tiering their book of business. I think that's a trend in 2026 that's going to just take off.
Yeah. I talked about tiering 10 years ago, but it's even more prevalent, and more important now, I think. But I was even looking at it as like simple tiering is like ABC. You've got your A client, your B client, your C client. But I think now there's people that are splitting this off in a lot of different ways with their tiering.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I think, whether it's monoline, multi-line, premium, certain numbers. And I think understanding your profitability per client is also should be something that is considered in tiering. It's a lot harder to track and determine, but if you have a client and you might only make $100, $200 commission on them, but if they're an awesome, easy client and they don't cost you any money, then that's the kind of client I want.
1,000%. I remember, gosh, it's probably been 15 years ago. When I first started really speaking and talking and consulting and talking to people about tiering, I had a friend of mine in Arkansas that was like, bro, every year I fire 10% of my clients
Mm.
every single year. And I was like, what? That's crazy talk to me to fire 10%. And he was like, bro, they cost me way too much money. And at the time, 15 years ago, I was a dumb 30-year-old person. I was like, this is, whatever. But now I've been doing this longer now. I'm like, oh, that makes total sense, because again, the more times you touch it, the more times they complain, the more times they call you. And he was like, I've got some in that 10% that are good clients, but they're jerks to my clientele, or they're jerks to my staff, or they're jerks to my carriers, or they're jerks to claims people or whatever. It's like, I don't have any room for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think customers, the general public, I don't know how fast it's going to happen, but they're going to find themselves struggling to find agencies eventually. Because if you are the type of insurance consumer who believes that your agent should answer the phone every time that you call, and that they're just sitting around twiddling their thumbs waiting for your request,
Yeah.
like, and if your agent says, hey, I pay for this app that I need you to download, but you still choose to call them, like, they're going to fire you. Right. They don't want your business because you're costing them money. It's not worth having clients that you're in the red on year after year after year, because they just won't do business the way you need them to do business. The 80-20 rule, I've known about it for a long time, but I've seen it in practice so many times lately, and I believe it's so true. Is if you cut your business, you divvy up your book of business 80-20, and maybe that 10% that you're talking about, like, maybe that's the different tier. So maybe it's 80, 70, 20, 10 or something. But yeah, like, figure out those 20% of your clients that make 80% of your revenue and do business the way they want to do business. And if the rest of them fall off, just replace them with more people like that original 20.
100%. No, I'm with you on that. I just realized as we're recording that I'm using the wrong mic.
No, you sound okay to me.
Do I?
Yeah.
I'm using the wrong mic, so forgive me. But no, you were on a roll there. But I just wanted to let you know what I was doing. I was like,
yeah,
I got a message that says I'm using microphone instead of my studio mic. But is it louder when I don't think I'm
it doesn't change when you move closer or further away.
I'm using the wrong mic. I don't know how to change that. It won't let me. I'm kind of pissed because this is good stuff and I don't want my audio to be bad. But you're saying it's not bad?
No, your audio sounds.
This is weird. I don't know how to change it back. Like, I'm plugged in. The thing is on, right? I guess this is it. I can't figure out the whole mic setting. So anyhow, sorry about that. Such a professional podcaster over here, Casey. I appreciate your patience. I've totally lost train of thought now. So we're going to just pick up somewhere else then. So you've had, as we talk just about every day almost, I feel like, but you said you had some people asking you a similar question to what, you and I talked about earlier, but of like things they should focus on in 2026. Would it be a similar answer to what you were saying earlier, or?
Yeah, I think so. My answers when I've been asked that already, a couple things. One is, if you don't know your numbers, start finding a way to track them. Like, you've got a few days left in January. And I know a lot of weird things happen in January for some agencies with a bunch of 1/1 renewals, and it's just kind of chaotic. So, take the next few days and build out a way to track those numbers through February and March, and then identify where you're having trouble. Because if you don't have your numbers, you don't really know where you're having trouble. You're just guessing. So I think that's one thing. And then I think the other two we've already kind of talked about, but analyze your book of business and figure out which 20% is making 80% of your revenue. And then focus on growing and adding clients that match those, so that you're not worried. I mean, I know it's easy for me to sit here and say that you don't need to worry about some of those 80% that only drive 20% of your revenue leaving your agency, but you don't. So those two things. And then the third thing is, build out those processes and stop being afraid of your employees. Like, I'm not.
Like, what do you mean? What do you mean by afraid of your employees?
I've talked to a lot of agencies, a lot of people when we build a process, and they're like, "Well, everybody's going to do this, but Tim's not."
Oh yeah. I get what you're saying.
Tim's been here for 16 years, or Sally's 8 months from retirement, or whatever. Like, it can't be like that. It's got to be everybody. It's got to be if two people have the same responsibility in your office, they have to do it the same bleeping way.
Yeah. No, I agree. So you're talking about standards.
Yeah. And because if your people won't follow the guidelines, won't follow the process, won't use the technology, they're costing you money. They're making your data less useful. And if they're not going to be a team player, like, and take their input, right? Like, I'm not saying like it's my way or the highway and be ham-handed with it. Get their feedback and be critical of the processes that you've built, or even bring them into the development of the processes. But once there's a process, everybody's got to do it. No ifs, ands, or buts, no excuses.
Yeah. Do you think that's one of those things that's like easier said than done kind of things? You and I both consult with agencies on a regular. Do you think it's one of those things that like we say that and they're like agreeing and nodding their heads, and then they get back to the office and they're like, this is really hard to do? Or do you think it comes down to more of a lazy thing? Or do you think it's like, Heath and Casey don't know what they're doing, they're not in the agency right now, blah, blah, blah. I tend to think it's something they can do if they would. Billy Williams made a career out of this, talking about standards. And obviously he's running, gazillion-dollar agencies doing that. And so where do you think the first process would be they should start at? Sales? Service? Prospecting? Claims?
Not claims.
I haven't hit a button yet. Okay, so
no, I was debating between sales and service, and I think that if one is more problematic than the other, then that's where you start. I think that agencies lose the most, or spend the most wasteful dollars on service.
Okay.
Nick Ayers had a great post about this last week or the week before about like, if you're like, we're really good at service. Okay, what does that mean, right?
1,000%. Yeah.
Cool. You're good at service. Like,
everyone says they're good at service. I mean, that's like the thing. And I talk about that a lot of like, yeah, cool story. Everyone says that. If you want to separate yourself from the sea of sameness and not be like everybody else, you can't say we're good at service. No. Like Chick-fil-A's good at service, but they're good at service in a different way because they, made it different by they have My Pleasure and they bring you drinks and they refill. Like no fast food restaurant brings you drinks. They, have a process. Like I don't know if it's any quicker that they come out to your car and like get out of the car or out of the drive-thru and come to your vehicle and take your order, but it sure does feel cool. And like it's very consistent. Like I've never had a bad chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A. If you have, again, let me know. But I don't, it's very consistent. Whereas, or 14 other fast food restaurants, and they're probably going to look different with each one of them, and they're probably going to feel different. They're probably going to have different look, everything, But Chick-fil-A, I could go here, or I could meet you in Texas and go to Chick-fil-A. It's probably going to be the exact same experience and the look and feel.
The examples I like to give, Chick-fil-A is one of the examples I like to use because, relatively speaking, any Chick-fil-A I've ever been to, I have the same experience, give or take, and I'm generally happy with what happened. Yeah. I'm happy with the food. I feel good about eating diet fast food and feeling like I had a good experience. And I play this little game where I try to trick them. I don't say thank you. I say like, have a nice day. And then they're like, my pleasure, and I'm like, I didn't say thank you. I said, have a nice day. But
that would be something you would do.
But I counter the Chick-fil-A experience to the Walmart experience. Like I never feel good when I leave Walmart.
Hey, ever. Watch it now. You're stepping on my toes here now. It's Arkansas.
I know.
I get you.
But the Walmart here, that's close to where I live, it's almost like they only want you to shop online. They don't want you to come in that store.
Yeah, I hear you.
And I leave Chick-fil-A and I leave Walmart with completely different feelings. So I don't think that having good customer service means you're Chick-fil-A. I think having a customer service process means you're Chick-fil-A. Like
If we chose service, you'd say standardize that service to make sure that whatever it might be, whether they're calling in for a certificate or calling in for an ID card or calling in to file a claim or calling in for just to complain that their rates went up, it should be a standardized procedure. I get you.
Yeah. And there could be a series of standardized procedures, right?
Yeah.
Like maybe if it's a certificate, it goes this way. And if it's a billing issue, it goes this way. Like I get it. But like if two of the exact same thing happen or are requested, it's got to happen the same way. And
True.
I think that the amount of time agencies waste on callbacks, phone tag, email tag, getting information, stuff they forgot to ask the first time around, like, and then when you're taking emails and text messages and phone calls and Facebook messages and website requests, it's like, no. You can't do all that.
Yeah.
And if your clients expect that, then you're an order taker. You're an order taker.
1,000%. Okay. As much as people hate hearing about, AI, I do think that there is some things that we should be paying attention to. And I think there's some things that, people should be doing beyond just clicking around on ChatGPT or on Microsoft Copilot or Gemini or whatever. And I'm seeing a lot of companies, and you and I are friends with a lot of these companies that are using AI as like that's their company. Some of these companies I've seen come out, and I won't say them by name. I feel like what they're doing is the same thing as me setting up an AI agent and creating my own like prompts and things of that nature. I could probably get the same information out.
Sure. I think for me, I always use like the mowing your yard example, right?
Yeah.
Like if you like mowing your yard and you're good at it and it's something you do that gives you pleasure, then you should mow your yard. But if you don't like mowing your yard, you should absolutely not mow your yard. You should pay a yard service and they will mow it and it will look better than if you did it yourself. And you won't have had that like stress and anger and frustration of I hate doing this and I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that it's the AI kind of thing happens that way for me too, is that, yeah, you could learn a lot of this stuff and you could build some of these tools on your own, but it's not going to be as effective or as reliable or as safe as if you went to a company that had paid money to develop them. Now distinguishing those companies from the companies that like don't really know what they're doing, but and I don't run into a lot of those, but I mean, there could be some floating out there because it is pretty accessible. I think that there's a lot of, I think you just need to really be careful with your time, because if you try to build some of these things on your own and you don't really know what you're doing, you could be making things a lot worse than you think very, very quickly.
Yeah. The other thing I've noticed, and this may be just me, there's sometimes that I'll go into a generative AI platform. I've already called out all of them, but I'll just, if I were to go into one, I'll go in there and be like, I need to write an email to Casey and I want to say this, I want to say that. By the time I get done writing the prompt, I could have wrote the email myself.
Yep.
And I'm like, what am I doing? But after I get the prompt, get the thing, then I can go through that with the whole human in the loop thing. I got to go into there and I got to make sure, did it put any M dashes in there? Did it do this? Did it punctuate right? Did it say it right? Did it sound right? And by the time I go through all of that editing, I could have just wrote the email myself the first time.
Yeah.
Is that just me, or is that like a thing you think? People are wasting time creating prompts when they could have done it.
I'd be surprised if there's not already a term for that exact scenario. There probably is. I've had that happen too, right? Like I think, oh, this thing's going to save me a bunch of time. And then I spend 20 or 30 minutes working on a prompt or working, like I could have just done this myself. Yeah, I think that is definitely something that happens a lot. And that's where I feel like the ways that people use the AI tools that they have, get the most out of them by building a bot or an agent, or a bot's the wrong word, an agent or a custom GPT or whatever that's going to do that same thing over and over and over again. So like I have some that I don't need to reprogram. They already know what I want. Now I'm just having to give them 1 or 2 sentences about what I want, and it will
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to wrap up with two things that I got to get out of you because I want to talk about it. So I've been hearing people, when I say hearing people, whether it's LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, whatever I'm paying attention to at the moment, people are saying like this next generation of people coming into the industry and coming into the world or coming in, whatever, whether it's Gen Alpha or whatever you want to call it, I think they're going to have a reset because it's been like so AI focused, so telephone, so stuck on your phone, streaming everything, watching your phone, glued to everything. It's going to come a place where it's like, oh, it's cool to go outside. It's cool to talk to people. Like it's cool to do those things. What are we doing? Not like, I think it's going to go back to, maybe like when we grew up and go out and play in the mud and go have fun playing football with your buddies. Like, I think there's going to be this reset according to what I'm, paying attention to. And I hope that's the case.
I agree. And there's a lot of different tentacles to that topic. But I did read within the last year about an entire group of college students. So I don't know what, I guess is that Gen Alpha, currently in college that have essentially adopted smart flip phones. They've gone back to flip phones. They're like, I want a phone that sends texts and makes phone calls and that's it. Like I don't want anything else. And there's like, I don't know if it's a movement, but there are groups in these colleges of kids that are just like, F it. Like, if I need to get on a social media platform, I will on my computer, but I'm not going to use it on my phone. I'm not going to have it in my pocket. And I love that. I think that's awesome. And I'm not trying to get off my yard. I mean, everybody has their own, stuff.
I get you. I get what you're saying.
And then I think to the being outside part, or even just in general, I mean, sound like a softie, but like there's an epidemic of loneliness. Like it's crazy. And pre-COVID, bowling leagues, golf leagues, book clubs, Rotary clubs, like all these like social or philanthropic organizations were like dying. They were like just gasping for air. And then COVID came and, like almost all of them are gone. I know there's still some of those things, but they're just not as common anymore. And I think people, especially young people that maybe haven't grown up with that kind of social engagement in real face-to-face social engagement are probably like craving it in a really, really big way. Even with my girls, like, I mean, they use screens a lot, but like they like to FaceTime. Like they're on like FaceTime with their friends all the time versus like texting and some of those things. So I do think there are shifts coming, but I think the thing that makes it really hard to predict is that we have no data about what screens and immediate gratification is doing to people's brains. And we do know that changes the way your brain works. And so it's hard for you and I to relate to people in some ways. I think we're both pretty adept, but like, somebody in their 40s can struggle sometimes adapting to somebody in their mid 60s because of your experience. We grew up like half in digital, half out, and they never knew digital. And then the people that are 20 years younger than us know nothing but digital. And then the people 20 years younger than them are going to be like, they only know AI. So like, it's going to constantly evolve, and I don't know where it's going to go, but I hope that what you're saying and what you're seeing and reading is right. And I think
I hope
it would be great.
I hope so. I know we got a hard stop in a minute because we'll pick up our kids, but so last thing. So my best friend Will Arnett and I were talking. I'm just kidding, but I listen to Will Arnett's podcast all the time, Smartless, and he says that, and I'm quoting you, Will Arnett. So if you're listening to my show, thank you. But listen, he says that if we were to completely shut off the internet for 6 months, just shut it all down, Wi-Fi, internet, smartphones, everything, it would reset our society in a way that like we've never seen before. And like, it would just be this incredible, like, it would almost go back to the good old days, so to speak. And he thinks that would be something that we need in our world. Like, he's a little frightened.
Oh,
Smart
holy
phone.
shit! Like if people had to like read newspapers or
Yeah.
like watch like television news that's not cable news, like I'd take it a step further and say we have to disable all cable news. But yeah, like we probably would. Like we would have far less radicalization. We would have people talking to each other, listening to each other. Yeah, people that are lonely and stuck in their phones would probably do other things to try to find human interaction. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think maybe he's onto something.
I mean, there's no way it would happen, but it'd be cool if it could. All right. Dude, again, we'll probably talk here in like an hour, but I appreciate you hanging out with me, being such a good ride or die, being here with me. Sorry about the 15-minute hiccup there where I couldn't figure out my mics, but nobody will know that because I'm going to do some magical editing. But hopefully the audio for the listeners is not too bad. But again, thank you. Go get your kids. Tell Nora and tell Brandon I said hi. And, pet Rexy. Pet Rexy on his little head for me. And we'll talk soon.
Okay. Love you, buddy. Thanks, man.
Love you, buddy.
See ya.
Peace.